I'm Sally Poxon, I'm also from Narec, as Jonathan is. So I'm going to talk on the possibility of increasing investment in wind energy and also maybe phasing out nuclear power. The energy mix I'm proposing needs to support the wind industry and increase investment in the northeast so that wind can be a major part of the mix in 2040. Coal and gas will also need to be there, but there's a chance that we could phase out nuclear at this stage. There are currently 9 nuclear power stations online in the UK, producing about 15% of our electricity. However, these are slowly being decommissioned as they come to the end of their design life. By 2016, in just 5 years from now, they will all be decommissioned. We can no longer use them. The nuclear power stations that we have today were built in a bit of a rush in the 80s, and there are no new ones being built at the moment in the UK. Also, with increased public opposition to nuclear due to worldwide developments, now seems like a good time to move on from this diminishing power source. So, wind turbines. In the UK, there are currently about 3,500 wind turbines, and generating enough power of the equivalent of 1 in 7 homes. Just 20 years ago, the first commercial wind turbine was put up in Cornwall, and shortly after this, it was followed by the wind turbines on Blythe Harbour, which I'm sure you've seen. There's 9 turbines there, producing a total of 2.7 megawatts. In these 20 years, the wind turbines have grown enormously. Today, one wind turbine could easily produce that 2.7 megawatt total. And some of the larger units will produce double that, up to 6 megawatts. Wind turbines are getting bigger all of the time, and it's essential that they do. The larger the wind turbine, the more efficient it is, because the energy you get out is proportional to the swept area of the blades. So a small increase in blade length produces a much larger power output of the wind turbine. The early wind turbines that are on Blythe Harbour have a hub height, that's the height of blade centres, have a hub height of about a 6 or 7 storey building, and a blade length of just 14 metres, which is about a bit longer than this lecture theatre. Today, though, the wind turbines being produced have a hub height of over double that of Gray's Monument, and a blade length of about 15 family cars parked back to back. At Narec, I test wind turbine blades as part of my job, and we're currently designing a facility that will test blades up to 100 metres long, which we estimate we'll probably get those in maybe 5 or 6 years' time. No one's built one yet. This increase in size gives rise to problems, not to mention the challenge of going offshore. The first wind turbines installed offshore in the UK were those 2 just off the shore at Blythe. These are 2 megawatt devices, and they didn't work very well at the start. But as you can imagine, it's the first time you install a 40-metre steel tower with electrical connections in 8 metres of water, it might not work first time. But at least they're still standing. And this is where the northeast comes in. It's an excellent opportunity for the northeast because it is ideally situated to take the lead in this developing industry. You may have heard of Round 3. This describes the area of the seas which have been divided up for offshore wind farms to be built from 2015 onwards. An example of this is Dogger Bank, which is about 100 miles off the east coast, and will have a capacity of 6,000 megawatts. That's more than the UK currently produces from wind turbines. Building these wind farms is not easy or a mundane task. It's a huge engineering challenge. And this is where the Northeast excels. Wind farms need to be designed, engineered, manufactured, transported, installed and maintained. And along the Tyne and many other ports in the Northeast, there are empty sheds waiting to be filled with industry like wind turbine manufacturing facilities. The Northeast has a history of developing the oil and gas industry, which has resulted in skills and knowledge which are transferable and adaptable for the wind industry. And there is no one area in the UK at the moment that's taken the lead in this industry, and it's our chance to do that. With investment in building facilities to encourage existing wind turbine companies to set up here, the knowledge and skills will steadily grow so that the Northeast can become a base for specialist wind turbine and wind farm tasks. This needs to be matched with training and offshore in offshore turbine maintenance and wind farm management if it's to be a success. The energy mix I'm proposing is to have 50% wind energy, coal and gas to be similar amounts to today, a small increase in biofuels, and marine renewable targets is there as well.
Okay, thank you.
How many of these will you need ultimately at 50%?
50%.
And what will the cost be per unit? And I passed a couple of very large offshore wind farms, one off the south coast of England and the other one just off the north coast of Germany. They were, I tried to count them, but it was approaching between 50 and 100 somewhere. It was very, very large.
Yes, yeah.
We could sail between them.
Yes, you need to be able to sail between them. So the first part of the question was how many?
How many?
How many will you?
In order to produce 50% of the power.
Well, in all of these presentations, we're assuming that the just as a general assumption for all our presentations, we're assuming that the energy usage in 30 years' time will be the same as now due to greater efficiencies and more public awareness of electricity use, just as a baseline, so we can compare our presentations. So at the moment, the peak load, the peak electricity load in a day gets to about 55 gigawatts. If we do levelling, then we can reduce that to, under 50 gigawatts. So 50% wind would be 25 gigawatts. And if all of the round 3 wind farms are built and operating all at the same time, then with just the round 3 wind turbines, we will be producing about 24, 25 gigawatts. Number of, so there'll be, in Dogger Bank there is 1,600.
I had a figure of 30,000 not so long ago.
Yeah, so in Dogger Bank, which is a 6,000 megawatts, 6 gigawatts wind farm, there's 1,600 wind turbines, so about 4 times that, so 4 times 1,600.
The figure I'm conscious of was something around 30,000.
30,000 or
Very large.
Yeah. I mean, as the years go by, we'll get bigger devices, 6, 7, 8 megawatts.